are stripped of their selfhood and robbed of their dignity by signs stating for whites only. We cannot be satisfied as long as a Negro in Mississippi cannot vote and a Negro in New York believes he has nothing for which to vote. No, we are not satisfied, and we will not be satisfied until justice rolls down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. I am not unmindful that some of you have come here out of great trials and tribulation. Some of you have come fresh from narrow jail cells. Some of you have come from areas where your quest for freedom left you battered by the storms of persecution and staggered by the winds of police brutality. You have been the veterans of creative suffering. Continue to work with the faith that unearned suffering is redemptive. Go back to Mississippi. Go back to Alabama. Go back to South Carolina. Go back to Georgia. Go back to Louisiana. Go back to the slums and ghettos of our northern cities. Knowing that somehow this situation can and will be changed. Let us not wallow in the valley of despair. I say to you today, my friend,
Welcome back. Those were the prophetic words, of course, of the Honorable Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Prior to I Have a Dream, but this was the I Have a Dream speech, but this was before he talked about the dream. He talked about some realities of what goes on in America in 1963, what is happening in 2013, and you've heard him mention at least 2 times about police brutality. You got some that's afraid to talk about that word. You heard him talking about the wealth in this society. You got some that's afraid to talk about that. Let me open up the lines. I'll take a few calls before we wrap up as we're still commemorating. All of this is part of the commemoration of the Honorable Walter P. Carter. And I thank those members of CORE, past, present, those who have passed on, black, brown, red, yellow, and white, those who are part of the organization Activists, Inc., and those who work with the Black United Front in the city of Baltimore. May we never, ever, ever forget him and forget them as well. And with that, let me come to the line, 410-761-1592. Good afternoon, caller. You're in the state of the city.
Good afternoon, Brother John. How are you?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, brother, because that's what I plan on doing with my 2 young grandsons, man, get to the point where they start reading and they can start, remembering. If that's going to be the first Walter P. Carter in the legacy and the work that he did for the city, man. And like you said, brother, how can you be at a church calling for a march from Baltimore and you leave out the family when this person that led the largest delegation from Maryland, brother?
Right. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Well, yeah. Let you see, this is part of the bigger charade that's going on, man. You understand? Right. That's clearly what we're looking at, brother, with Shopton and the likes that's doing it, man. So, and we can debate it.
Like you said, brother, an FBI informant, man, I just hope more people can pull up that article, man, sleeping with the GOP, and find out the truth about this cat, man.
Yes, sir. That's right, brother. Articles, plural. Al Sharpton. All right?
All right, brother.
Thank you, brother. Modern day Al Jolson, man. Instead of saying Mammy, he's singing about Pappy. And you know who his Pappy is, sitting over there in the White House, man. Pappy Obama. They had a big meeting over there the other day, man, getting their marching orders and getting their instructions. Y'all go out there and make me look good now, like you did when you was marching in a couple of years ago, you and Glenn Beck, you on one side, Beck on the other side. How much you want to bet this year is going to be Shopton on one side and O'Reilly on the other side? Just zooming you, man. But let me come back to the line. I'll go deep into that on another day. Good afternoon, caller. You on the state of the city.
Good afternoon, Brother Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Walter P. Carter, when I was 12 or 13, I was out at Forest Park Golf Course caddying, making me a little hustle.
Yes, sir.
$3 for 9 holes.
Right.
But Walter P. Carter was over at the village of Purnell, which just sits over the hill.
Yes, sir.
And they were protesting for housing rights for blacks.
Uh-huh.
Now, I didn't understand what was going down.
Yes, sir. Right.
but I do remember, and I thank Walter P. Carter.
You picked up on the energy.
Day.
Yes, sir.
Now,
Thank you.
Friday coming, we're going to have a rally.
Okay.
Leo Burris, the president of the Committee of Concerned Citizens,
Yes, sir.
against the state's attorney, Bernstein. We are asking for him to release the autopsy.
Mm-hmm.
We want the police to do this also. We want the police to suspend those 8 officers
Right.
until the investigations are done.
Yes,
We
sir.
want some charges. We would like to see some charges brought forth by the state's attorney's office.
Right.
And I'm asking everybody,
What time? Place and place?
3:30 in
Yes, sir.
front of SunTrust Building on Baltimore and Calvert.
Okay. Yes,
Baltimore
sir.
and Calvert Street in front of the SunTrust Building.
Mm.
That's the offices of
Yeah.
Mr. Bernstein, correct?
Okay. Yes, sir. Well, I think he ought to know that. That's where they just had a stabbing last Friday night. And that old chump had nerve to try to go in the hood and have a press conference. He could have had a press conference right there at Baltimore Calvert where that young man was stabbed on Friday night and died as a result of the stabbing. But this is in reference to Tyrone West that you're referencing now, right?
Tyrone West.
Yes,
Brother
sir.
Tyrone West, who was allegedly, I'm saying allegedly, killed by Baltimore City Police.
Yes, sir.
Um,
Okay.
Please, the family and everybody that I can't contact, that I don't have contact information, everybody that listens to your show.
What time? What time again? Friday, what time?
3:30.
Okay.
3:30.
All right. Make sure they know the parking in that area around that time, but that's rush hour. And you know Baltimore City, they like the tow down there, brother, right?
Oh, yeah.
So make sure we
I
know
want
about
to
the parking that time of day. Let me get some more of these calls. Thank you again, and we'll be back on tomorrow. We'll announce it again tomorrow and Friday when we're back up, all right?
Thank you, brother.
Appreciate you, brother. Peace now. And with that, we'll take a few more calls before we get up out of here. Good afternoon, caller. You're on the State of the City.
Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Walaikum salam, my brother.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I kind of agree with that previous caller a couple calls back. Clearly, we got to teach our young children the history of both.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Walter B. Carter.
That's right.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a must.
Yes, sir. It's a must, brother. They've tried to write him out of history, but, as even Mr. John Roma shared with me when I was at Gwinnett Park with him, he said Walter was a very practical man and a very analytical man. So, and that's what it's going to take in order to, again, look at moving this city, moving this state, and move this country. Not just those that can mobilize, but those that can organize. And he was the kind of man coming out of the military who was an organizer and working with organizations such as the members of the Goon Squad, working with those in the Black United Front, those in Black October, those in the Black Panther Party, and he clearly represented unity, but the best of us as a people. We have to teach that to our children because there are those that have tried to wipe him out of history so that we don't pick up on his legacy and, again, even talk about naming maybe Gwinnett Park after him or having a blacks and wax figure of the Honorable Walter P. Carter. And so it's incumbent upon that generation that benefited from the works of Walter Carter to do that. But again, many of them, unfortunately, brother, are far removed from the legacy of Walter Carter. And so it takes our generation to pick up on that baton and be willing to teach the people, all right?
Well, next time, Brother Muhammad, you see my boys,
Yes, sir.
you can ask them questions about Walter B. Carter. I guarantee you they'll know.
All right, I promise I will. Appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir.
All right, love you. We'll take a few more of your calls before we have to begin to wrap up. 410-761-1592 to get in on the conversation. Some of my elders that worked and labored with Walter P. Carter. Let me thank Mr. Jim Griffin, who I talk to regularly. Thank John Roma and his wife. Let me thank Charles Mason, who I saw at the celebration, and others, even some of the rabbis and others that were there. And I met the representative from the Embassy of India, who I'm going to have on to talk about the works of the Honorable Walter P. Carter, but also Dr. King, when Dr. King spent, I believe it was a month in India and worked with the government of India and, of course, the great picking up on the works of the Mahatma Gandhi. I know there's some bad things about Mahatma Gandhi. Take the good, we're going to leave the bad and keep it moving. And with that, we'll take a few more calls. Good afternoon, caller. You're on the State of the City. You got to turn your radio down. Caller going once. Try one more time.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, sir. Come
Good
on, brother.
afternoon. I'd like to make a comment.
Yes.
I'm 64 years old, and it's a lot about politics that I never knew about, and I never thought it affected me.
Yes.
That's why I never paid attention to a lot of it. So I thank you for making me aware of a lot of things that's happening, that happened and still happening. And all these years, I just never thought it affected me. I just never seen how it affected me,
Yes, sir.
and so many others. So
Right.
thank you for bringing
you.
that knowledge to me.
Well, thank you for sharing the information, all right?
Okay, thank
All
you.
right, peace now. And with that, we'll take a few more of your calls. Good afternoon, caller. You're on the State of the City.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Yes, the name of that country club was called the Elk Ridge Country Club.
Elk Ridge Country Club. Oh, it's still as racist today as it was then, back in 1955, brother. All right.
Real quick, brother.
Yes, sir.
That young man that was beaten by the police, was that a black kid or
Yeah, that was a black
white
boy.
kid?
That was a black boy. That was a white kid. They wouldn't have. Come on, brother. They
Yeah,
they wouldn't did that. Hey, come on. You know, it was a black boy. Now, two wrongs don't make a right. He's wrong for stealing a car, riding around in it, joyriding. But they say they have a do not pursue policy in the city, and we've lost so many innocent bystanders because the police are pursuing. One a few months ago in front of City Hall, but they claimed they wasn't pursuing. Right. So we have to stop that, man. And then to beat the boy after the other officers had already grabbed the boy and had him on the ground, we just wouldn't have known had it not been for, I think it was Channel 11, Chopper that actually picked up the video footage, man. So how many others have they done this to without us knowing? All right?
Yeah, that's it, bro.
Appreciate you checking in now. All right.
All right, bro.
Peace.
All right.
And with that, alaikum salam. We'll take one or two more calls, then we're going to wrap up. Good afternoon, caller. You're in the State of the City.
Hello, Brother Ahmed. I'm the lady that called the other day.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm 66, and like that guy just said, I'm going to turn my TV down a bit.
Please do.
I didn't know much about Martin Luther King when I was growing up. I was in my 20s.
Yes.
And he, what this guy said, you didn't hear about this stuff. You didn't know what he was saying, what he meant, why he was saying what he did.
Yes.
And now that I've heard what your program just mentioned, it means a hell of a lot to me now to know that I didn't know and couldn't understand why he was doing what he did.
Yes, ma'am.
But now I'm showing a lot more respect for him.
Right.
I didn't know P. Carter, but
Walter P. Carter? Yes, ma'am.
But Martin Luther King, he really brought it out. I mean, people are being hidden, and it's kept from them as long as I am old. We don't know a lot of this stuff because it is under wraps. It's undercover, and nobody wants to talk about it because at those times it was a good old days.
Yes,
it
ma'am.
isn't.
Right. That's
and
right.
now that it's coming to surface, I thank God and for you and your program that you continue this because there's so much that we need to know as black people.
Okay, I promise I will. Thank you, Mama, for checking in, all right?
Sure. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. God bless
Okay,
you.
bye.
All right. And with that, we got to begin to wrap up, get up out of here, make way for, I believe, Carlton Douglas coming up after me with what's going on. This will probably be the last call right here, and then we're going to get up out of here. Good afternoon, caller. Lost you or you lost me. So again, as we wrap up, we thank the family of the Honorable Walter P. Carter. We thank Mama Joy Carter. We thank his beautiful daughter, the Honorable Delegate Jill P. Carter. And thank those who labored with him, who worked with him to change the city. May we never, ever, ever forget him, but pick up on his legacy and don't let anybody who come to you to talk about this 50th anniversary of the March on Washington without mentioning the name of the Honorable Walter P. Carter. And again, we have to work perhaps to have a Blacks and Wax figure named after him and his wax figure there at the Blacks and Wax Theater or museum. And that's just going to take a little work if we truly have love for him, love for what he represented, and love for one another. So we're going to wrap up, get up out of here. We do need your support to come longer and stronger. So again, I ask you to make those checks, money orders payable to WFBR. Send it to 159 8th Avenue, or you can do it right. Just drive by right here to 159 8th Avenue, right next to the Honda dealership, and drop it off to Sister Jean. She's still here on the scene, and she'll make it happen, Captain, as we say. Otherwise, we're going to be gone in more than one way. But we'll be also at Terra Cafe. You can drop it off. Let me thank the brother who dropped off a sister donation to Terra Cafe. But more of you got to put your money where your heart is. So again, we up out of here. We'll be back here tomorrow at 12 noon, scheduled to be joined in the first segment by the State Comptroller, Peter Francho. So again, tune in tomorrow at 12 noon. Stay tuned for Brother Carlton Douglas with what's going on. Until tomorrow at 12 noon, God bless, all the best, and the rest to you and yours. Peace.